Hello, I'm Barbie. Thanks for inviting me in. You and I have so many things to talk about.
It's interesting when you talk to people about Barbie dolls, how many people have extreme reactions about, oh, I couldn't have a Barbie doll because my mom thought they were terrible, or I was only allowed the childhood dolls, or, oh no, I would never have a Barbie, or I always wanted a Barbie, but I only had a knockoff Barbie. And then they talk about, oh, I got a Barbie and the first thing I did was cut their hair. My name is Marty Rhodes and I'm the goddess of Barbieville. You may wonder how somebody who is as much of a rabid feminist as myself would be interested in Barbies. Well, I'm here to tell you. I think that Barbie's a feminist. When you think about the fact that she's had more than 200 careers, that she's run for president 7 times, and the fact that she's one of the most diverse toys in the world, and that she's available worldwide. I think Barbie is a feminist because she really does show that you can be anything you want to be. And in my Barbieville, we are female-led, gender fluid, and everyone is welcome, except for fascists.
Take one girl, add a dash of moonlight, add one boy and a pinch of June night. Mix with a little magic from the stars up above. That's instant love. Instant love.
Age 9, my mom is a seamstress, so Barbie had it made. She had clothes made out of the most exquisite fabrics. Anything I wanted to have made for her was made. Even a Barbie kimono that my Japanese mother made. You know, the Japanese culture is really fond of dolls, and they even have a National Girls' Day where they put up a doll display. So it was very natural for my mom to think, oh yeah, of course she wants dolls, and let me make her some clothes. So my Barbie had a wardrobe to die for. I also had a dad who was a journalist and had a very active imagination. So when the Barbie game came out, my dad was willing to play it with me, and often he won, and he ended up being queen of the prom. One of my favorite memories about that is Dad would hang out every Wednesday after court and talk with his reporter buddies in our kitchen around the table, and they'd drink scotch. And then he'd talk to all of them and say, hey, you know what I did today? I was queen of the prom. And they'd all laugh. So it's a fond memory. So no wonder I was set up to like Barbies. This is the original Barbie that I got when I was 9 years old. She had a ponytail at the time. I'm sorry. She hates it when I do this, but I washed her hair and then I cut her hair, and so she ended up looking like this. Since then, she now has a wig, and she really is retired. She lives in the dream house and she has a wonderful life. Most of her estate has gone to Barbie Rose, who is the creator really of Barbie's Art Gallery and Barbieville. And so today, we're going to take you on a little tour of Barbieville. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the immigration policy. When people first arrive in Barbieville, they're given a cupcake and then an optional makeover. We think that should be a policy throughout the world when new people arrive, and we encourage the United States Congress to consider that when they look at the immigration bill, which I'm sure will happen after November 3rd. And so let's take a quick glance at the art gallery. Start on the ground floor. The art gallery has a cafe and a gift shop because every art source needs a revenue source. This is Tri. She is the education director at the art gallery. She does a good job. And this is Trent. He works in the cafe along with Kat. This is Lucy. She works in the gift shop. So this is the first floor gift shop, and you can get a latte, any kind of goodie you want. And then the second floor is a photography exhibit. And this is Yuri. Yuri is the installation director at Barbie's Art Gallery, and nobody knew he was a photographer until the pandemic. And he just mounted this show one night, and we all got up in the morning, and there it was. It turns out he's been taking these photos of Barbie residents without us knowing. So a lot of the folks in Barbieville were upset when the show first mounted, but now they're kind of making their peace with it because he is very creative. He's also very pompous. And here he is mansplaining to Frida Kahlo. Frida's, as you know, a docent at the art gallery, and she's not taking it well. This is Violet, his girlfriend, who's responding and mentioning how much Yuri is embarrassing her. And then this is Nori Chen, who's also wearing a Frida Kahlo t-shirt. And she's having to listen to somebody mansplain to Frida Kahlo. How embarrassing. Then we go on up to the third floor, which is the Asian art gallery. This is operated by Kenji. Kenji is such a clothes horse. He got this helmet and he couldn't resist trying it on. He also got a new sweater for the filming. He's very excited. And he's in charge of the Asian Art Gallery. He does a really nice job. And then at the very top, you see our 24-hour security, Wonder Woman, and Kira, the flying superhero Barbie from the 1990s, actually 1995. She was gifted to me by my son during when we were playing Barbies and superheroes together during the days of Barbie's Detective Agency. In any community, I think you need an open space. So, of course, in Barbieville, we have a park, and we have a dog park, because we all love dogs. Well, the first people you encounter in the park are, of course, Bo, who thinks he's a free spirit but is actually homeless. He lives in this tent, made from ice-dyed fabric, by the way. And this is Joey. She's a social worker, and she just has bad taste in men. What can we say? This is Kat. She often works in the cafe, but she's a quiet, contemplative sort of gal, and right now she's just sitting thinking about her life. Madrona. We know she's a naturalist. She loves animals, and she's at the dog park trying to decide which one she wants to take home. Over here we have Rosa Parks. You remember Rosa Parks from history, but Rosa Parks in Barbieville likes to time travel because she got tired of being stuck in her time period. So she's moved up to this current time, and she loves dressing in roses. So then over here, this is the Barbie Community Kitchen and co-housing. Manuel and Lily both work in the kitchen. Lily is known for her phenomenal pho. This is her boy, Connor. They both arrived in Barbieville together. Connor really hasn't found his place, but Lily is a damn fine cook. So together, Lily and Manuel are doing the community kitchen. Everything is free in Barbieville. The food's all provided, so they just love to cook. Upstairs is the community art gallery or art studio, where anybody can come and paint. And right now, Luna and Emma are conferring over a painting. This shelf, I want to talk about these dolls for a minute. These are Creatable World dolls that were issued by Mattel in 2019. And they were available for a brief time at Target, but now they're mostly available online only. And they're dolls that come with long-haired wigs so that they can go from being a boy or a girl or both. And all their clothes are beautifully made, and they're unisex clothes. So I bought these dolls, and I volunteered at an event called Nightmare at Beaver Lake, where there are a lot of gay and trans kids. So these were my staff during registration. I'd get the kids had to sign in and out in order to volunteer. So these guys were my staff who made certain that they signed in and out. And I knew I was doing the right thing when one of the kids picked up Jessie and looked at her and changed her hat and played with some of her accessories and then said, "Oh my God, if this toy were around when I was a kid, it would have changed my life." So good job, Mattel. You're changing and evolving like the rest of society. This is part of co-housing. And upstairs we have Summer. She's sitting in a throne. Summer is a special Barbie. Summer is the only Barbie who still believes that she's a princess. So she needs a caregiver. Grandma Gertie takes care of her, and she pretty much takes care of anybody who needs it. And behind her is the Irish Princess Barbie. She's a rescue. The poor girl was trashed. So I brought her home and washed her hair and ironed her clothes, and she's looking really good. And right now she's just serving as a handmaiden to Princess Summer. And we all know that there aren't really princesses, but anyway. This is Tony and Maria. Maria's pregnant. So when Pregnant Midge, this was not a Barbie, when Pregnant Midge was first issued, parents were horrified that there was actually a pregnant doll. And if you notice, Mattel was never comfortable enough to have Barbie be pregnant. Midge was pregnant, but Midge did have a wedding ring. You want to see Midge's baby and how it all works? Excuse me, we have to be modest here. She is wearing Calvin Klein underwear, though. And here's where the baby is. How's that for an easy delivery, ladies? And then down here is just the community rec room where the guys are hanging out, watching television. And these are the two of the Asian investors in Barbieville, June and Juinji. And they're pretty wasted right now, actually. But they're watching TV. Some more guys. This is Sean. He's a social worker in Barbieville, and he's because he's retired military, he works with a lot of the retired GI Joes. This is Charlie. He works construction. This is Brody. He's kind of the town hunk. He slept with most of the women and a few of the men. These are the original Barbies and Midges and Skipper and Scooter and Alan. This is where Hank hangs out. Hank has PTSD, and so he can't really be inside a building, and he just hangs out in Barbieville and grills. So anybody who needs a snack can stop by and visit and talk to Hank, and he'll provide a hamburger and hot dog for anybody who's interested. Right below is Red. He's another G.I. Joe who we discovered has a love of music, and he offers free music lessons in Barbieville. And Lyric is taking advantage of both the lessons and possibly Red. This is Antoine, and Antoine's House of Beauty. He has a number of wigs. Who knew Barbie had wigs, right? There are Barbie wigs. These wigs date back from my childhood. I had a midge who wore wigs. So when Antoine saw these, he was like, oh, well, I need to set up a house of beauty. He was a pain to work with. He was insistent on this wallpaper. It's stuck together. It's fabric. It was a mess. But in the end, he's very happy. One of the reasons he was perfect for the wig shop is because he can wear all the wigs, and he looks great in them. Really. I mean, he can pull this off, I think. So this is Antoine's House of Beauty. And it sits right over the garage. Here's Nikki. She works on engines. This is a great thrift store story because I bought the Harley. It was $2.99 in Goodwill. I got it home and noticed it had a battery thing, so I opened it up, put fresh batteries in it, and I jumped up and down. So we call him Recovery Ken, and he's in charge of Barbie's garage and fleet of vehicles. If you follow me for a moment, Ken will show you around. To the left is Barbie's original Austin Healey, I think it was. And that was mine as a little girl. I used to tie a string around it and walk around my cul-de-sac, dragging the Barbie car behind me. And then next you have a little scooter. And then there's the pink Barbie Jeep. Then the Barbie RV from the 70s. And then the red Porsche, which I must show you one feature. And of course, the Chevy Bel Air. That's Recovery Ken's favorite car. So this is my newest house, and it's still under construction. We're not sure what's all going to shake out. We know obviously garage and Antoine. And then here we've turned it into a boutique, but we may want to do a little bit of remodeling. The best part of the boutique is this little cash register makes noises. And then this credit card. And then down below, I think we might do a gym. So we're working on that right now. He's going to be the personal trainer. His name is Harrison. This is Sassy. She's tough as nails. She's one of the yoga teachers. And here's one of the yoga teachers as well. Continuing around, even though, there's a lot of people who are hanging out in Barbieville, but there's limited housing. But this is Barbie's dream house, and Barbie lives in it. She's the only one who lives in it. She's kind of insistent on it. She says she earned it, and she's got a fair point. However, Troy does spend some time in Barbieville, and he takes care of Barbie and cooks for her and drives her around and is her escort now that Ken has passed away. So this is Barbie's dream house. Barbie lives in it by herself. That's how she rolls. This is Grace. She's an architect. She's having a very torrid affair with Cypress, but that's another story for another time. This is the Welcome Center in Barbieville, where every new resident is given a cupcake and an optional makeover. Mo works upstairs in the sewing salon, and she has a real gift for sizing somebody up and saying, you look like you might want a hot bath, a cupcake, and a massage. Or maybe you want to go work in the garden. Or how about a new hairdo? So when we say an optional makeover, you can have whatever you want. That's what Mo can do. Finally, this is Olive. And Olive is very sweet, or looks very sweet, but she's actually very sassy. And you can always tell her because she's usually wearing a t-shirt with obscene language. In this case, it says, "Fuck the patriarchy." So sometimes when people visit Barbieville and they see all the Barbies around, they say, do you change their clothes? Do they stay in position? And yes, indeed, I change their clothes, because changing Barbie's clothes is one of the most fun things in the world. In fact, Barbie has a closet to die for. You'd like to see the closet? Well, okay. All right, Barbie shoes. You know, when the docents toured DigiPen, one of the courses of study was world creation for like an MFA. And one of the things that struck me was he talked about the students taking classes in economics and anthropology, kind of what do these cultures believe, and what is their currency. So thinking about that in terms of Barbieville, I thought, if Barbies had currency, it would be shoes. And that's what I want to show you right now. Some of the newer Barbie shoes. We all remember the little stilettos that they had, but now they have things like vinyl boots and sock shoes. And honest to God, I can just swoon over Barbie shoes. And as if those aren't cute enough, look at the sunglasses. So that's a little glimpse into the world of Barbie fashion. And I think the currency would be called stilettos. So what's next in Barbieville? Well, right now I'm interviewing each of the residents and then doing a sketch. This is Olive. She has the Fuck the Patriarchy t-shirt. And even though she has a very sweet, kind-looking face, her politics are pretty radical. Barbie Rose. Interesting facts about Barbie Rose. Her mother is the original Barbie, and she's a little embarrassed of her because she always overdresses. And then Madrona. She's a naturalist. She works for National Geographic. Shy around humans, but she loves animals, and she's never been in love. So as I interview them, I take the notes, and I do the sketches with the idea somewhere down the road, maybe there might be a graphic novel. Who knows? But right now, I'm just doing the interviews. One of the points I always like to make is that I'm not a collector, I'm a player. My Barbies come out of the boxes, I play with them, I comb their hair, I change their clothes. By the time I'm done with them, they're probably worthless, but they were valuable to me.